Today we will discuss hardware for the IoT. The IoT is expected to be a worldwide network compressing by 2020 billions of devices. That means a gigantic number of devices deployed and characterize the terms of software and particularly the hardware. Hardware platforms show the high level view of main hardware components. The main illustrate the modules are communication module, microcontroller, sensor and actuators and power sources. What is a communication module? Communication module gives the smart object its communication capabilities. It typically either radio transfer with an antenna or a wired connection. What is a microcontroller? Microcontroller gives the object its behavior. The small microprocessor that runs a software smart object. That means microcontrollers have two types of memory: read on memory and random access memory. Read on memory is used to store program code that encode the behavior of the device, and random access memory is used for temporary data the software needs to do its task. For example, temporary data includes storage for program variables and buffer memory for handling radio traffic. And ROM is typically burned into the device when it manufactured and it is not altered after deployment. Modern microcontrollers provide a mechanism for rewriting the ROM. And next is an sensor and actuator. Sensor and actuator gives smart object to create that sense and interact with the physical world. And power source, this is need to because smart object contains electrical circuit. That means most common power source is a battery. So but there is another example as an is a power source. That means the physical force is applied or small solar cells provide powers when light shines on them. So next they have to use the what is an IoT in radio and next is the radio network and interface and wired communication interface. The first diagram to show the radio network. That means the radio network have to use the universal synchronous and asynchronous receiver and transmitters. That means USART for communication with the serial port. Some configured and serial peripheral device. And second one is a wired communication interface. They have to use the power and microcontrol sensor and actuator and wired communications. For example, you have to use a button cell and battery, solar cell and RF powers. The classes of constrained devices in class 0, class 1 and class 2. And next one is the hardware platforms. That means the introduce the some of main hardware platforms available in on the market. And first I'll highlight their distant futures and associated classes within 6 ways. First one, LSB and Solasia Z1 open mode, Arduino and Intel Galileo and Raspberry Pi. One by one have to discuss. First one is in LSB. The diagram have to show the example of the sample credit card option for the LSB. LSB is a mode from the Mesmic technology and same design as the T mode Sky mode from Scintilla. That means it compresses the MSP 430 microcontroller and CC242 radios. This type of microcontrollers mode operate the 415 MHz and 10 KB internal RAM and 48 KB and programmable flash memory in LSB. For example, that this means the consist compresses of MSB 430. Next is that LSB was developed by the University of California, that means Berkeley. It was a new mode design based on the previous experience generation. That means three major goals here. Use the experimentations of LSB. That means minimum power consumption one, and a second one is the ease of use, and third one is an increased software hardware robustness. And next is an Solarcia Z1. Solarcia Z1 is general purpose development of board targeting wireless sensor network and heterogeneous IoT application. It is equipped with two on-board digital sensor. For example, sensor connected to easily to a device such as sensor and actuator. The schematically overview of Z1 is a platform for general performance platform wireless sensor. That means the WSN is a design for researcher, developer, and extra. They have some analog input and output and digital input output work with the Solarsia is at one platform. The connectors, that means TLSB Solarsia one classified as a class 0 constraint device. And third one is an open mode. Open mode is a hardware is composed of 3 boards. First one board is an open mode CC2538, and second one is open base and open battery. That is a 3 boards. Open mode CC2538 is one, and next one is an open base, and third one is an open battery. It is a open CC2538 is the include microcontroller and radio transceiver other peripherals, for example LED buttons, etc. Next, the second one is the open base, the board allowing as a programming and debugging through UART or USB interface. The Ethernet port is an internet. Last one is open battery is a board is an autonomously is a providing energy to all subsystem. That means interface with the various sensor. The open mode including following hardwares: CC2538, TPS62730, ABM8G, ABS07, LED buttons, antenna connectors, and XB layout. And next is an Arduino. So Arduino is a computer hardware and software company manufacturing microcontroller kits for building digital device that can sense and interact with the physical world. The board design is a variety of microprocessor and controllers is equipped with digital analog and input output pins. That is called as shield. That means the interface expansion board called as an shield, and the other external circuit and component is typically in programming language it like traditional C and C++. You have to establish the existing libraries from developer community. So the Arduino developed by C++ language. The project, that means the Arduino, this is project started with the 2005 in Italy. The program students and Ivra Interaction Design Institute. The aim was Arduino low cost and easy to use board, and Arduino boards have been designed, create device, prototype, and interact with the environment. That means using sensor and actuator in multiple communication paradigm. That means diagrams. The diagram show the Arduino, the classical version of Arduino platform with a detailed representation of hardware architecture and main component. The diagram show in your slide. The next is an Intel Galileo. So is the first Arduino certified development board based on Intel x186 architecture. That means was designed by and makers and education purpose in academic communities. The Intel Galileo board combines Intel technology and support Arduino and expansion of SEAL related to software libraries. The board, that means the entire board runs on open source Linux operating system with the Arduino software libraries that enable reuse existing software. That means Intel Galileo hosts a Linux operating system. It is equipped with the Intel Quark SoC X1000, the first product of Intel Quark technology of family. The diagram shows the Intel Galileo. The last one is Raspberry Pi. The Raspberry Pi is a series of single board computers and created in the United Kingdom by the Raspberry Pi Foundation. That means the original aim of founders was to encourage the teaching of basic computer science in the schools and developing countries. So step by step, their board has significantly changed the way of manufacturers and developers thought. For example, about create a new project in many application scenarios. For example, the original model became very popular and started this spreading outside its initial target market for uses of use. That means such as robotics. Okay, so the Raspberry Pi boards with their available component and hardware profiles. The Raspberry Pi uses the Broadcom, that means the BCM2837 SoC with a 1.2 Hz and 64-bit quad core and ARM Cortex F53 processor. So the model A A plus and BY. The 0 are shipped without Ethernet module. That means commonly connected to a network using external adapters Ethernet or Wi-Fi. Up next is a model B or B plus is the Ethernet port provided by USB Ethernet adapter for using the SMSC and Raspberry Pi 3 and Pi 0 and WSON wireless as a provide and connectivity for etc. The Raspberry Pi board family can run multiple operating systems such as an Raspbian, Fedora, Ubuntu, Mat, Kali Linux, and Ubuntu Core, Windows 10 IoT Core, and RISC operating systems, Slackware, Debian, and Arch Linux RM, and Androiding things. That is the Raspberry Pi board family run on multiple operating systems. Okay, thank you.